I'm going to move on to Sue Talley. Thank you so much, Florence.
Thank
Sue?
you. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
So, is Violet going to
Oh,
do
yes.
her thing?
Violet.
Okay, I want to introduce you to Sue Talley, who's going to do an exercise with us. Now, Sue was the first person that thought of starting a foundation that I have that's now 15 years old and very successful to bring the work that we do all around the world, as we see even in Kenya. And Sue is the past president of and I don't know if if you're transparent, but I like to tell people because it's so amazing to me. Sue Talley's house burned to the ground during the last terrible fires, and we're having more fires now. And that's one thing we have every year. And with global warming, they're just getting worse. And I hope we can do something about that soon.
Yes.
And anyway, I so admire you, Sue, because you just came up from the ashes and here you are. So, Sue Talley.
Thank you, Violet. I'm so glad that we got the library out of there. And that was literally 1 month before the fire. The library got moved to Lewis and Clark, and all is well, and all the books and everything are in a safe place. So that makes me feel good. I've done a lot of your training since I've been in training with you, and I've been mostly to Moscow. I think I've done like five trainings now in Moscow, and Karen and Lynn and I have been doing trainings for several years at the Sarah retreat. And I've taken 4 of your 2-week intensives, and I've done your sand tray training at your last intensive. And Karen and I and Lynn, we've done a lot of lunches with you, and Karen and I have been in supervision with you since, I think, 1994 on a monthly basis. And I just consider you such an important influence and friend and mentor and support. I really believe you're my rock when it comes to the work that I do with children and, all clients. And when I try to sort of explain your theories to people who are just coming into this and are just learning about you, I know it's a simplistic chart and not something that really explains at all the complexities of your work. But I have this reverse triangle that I show to people, and it's, I'll show you a little picture I drew of it. And then I'll just explain it. Huh?
Can you center it, Sue?
Is it?
Other way. There, a little more over to your left, I believe. There we go.
Okay, and if my hands are shaking, I'm sorry, I'll send this to you, Karen, to send to people.
I will.
The bottom line is that it's a reverse triangle where you've got the top left is the therapist and the top right is the client. And in between the therapist and the client is the I-thou relationship. And nothing happens in therapy without that connection, without that I-thou relationship. And then the third bottom part of the triangle is the object or the metaphor or the projection, which helps, especially with children, to bring them into the process of working on themselves and learning about themselves through this metaphor. And the object, as people are aware of, can be sand tray, drawings, puppets, clay, medicine cards. There's all kinds of different kinds of metaphors to work with. And it takes some of the pressure off the child, especially because it's a lot easier to be a rose bush than it is to talk about, oh, my parents' divorce and how upset I am about it. There's a lot that can come out of that metaphor that relates to those feelings about the circumstances in a child's life, but it's done in a way that's less threatening to the child, and more information can come out of that. So for example, one of my favorite drawings, and how I always associate Violet, is the Rosebush Drawing. And it's something that she's done for years and years and years. And it's just one of my favorite ways of working with children. I had hundreds of Rosebush drawings, but they all burned to the ground. And that's been very difficult for me. But there's one rosebush that's been, what would you call it, memorialized in a psychotherapy.net tape that is available. And it's called Child Therapy Case Consultation with Violet Oaklander. If you can see this, and I'll send that information to you as well. But I talk with Violet in this video about a child whose parents divorced when he was 11. And I thought when he was coming in for his session, I'd have him do a picture of his parents' divorce, and then we could talk about that. But at the 11th hour, I thought, no, why don't we just do the rose bush? So what came out of that drawing was a metaphor for the pain that he was feeling being in between these two parents who could no longer get along with each other. And it was just a very powerful drawing. And what was interesting to me was that being 11 years old, when I asked him how this drawing affected him and in what way did this relate to his life, he said he felt lonely and he missed his friends. But clearly there was a lot more going on. Even though we don't do interpretations, there was a lot more coming up in that drawing that related to the sense of being alone and in between these two very powerful, tall apartment buildings, and he was one single rose. So I thought today we might do the Rosebush Drawing, and I'm going to have everybody participate in this. I'm going to have my assistant ring the gongs here.
Do you want to?
And yes.
Do you want to do a demonstration? You got about 40 minutes. So how do you want to spend the time?
So I think what I'd like to do.
Sorry, premature. That
was a premature gong. What I'd like to do is have everyone participate in the drawing, and then we'll go into. I'll do a demonstration with one volunteer, and then we can go into breakout rooms for a little bit, and you can share your drawing, and each of you be the therapist, and then switch and be the client, and see what comes up for you. Okay, does that sound like a plan? So I'm gonna ask everybody to just sort of sit back and relax, close their eyes, and take a couple deep breaths. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And take another deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And continue with your eyes closed, breathing this way. I'd like you to listen to the sound of the gong for as long as you can. So I would like you to imagine that you are a rose bush. And what kind of rose bush are you? Are you very small? Are you large? Are you a full rose bush or skinny? Do you have flowers? If so, what kind and what color are they? Do you have many flowers or maybe just a few? Are you in full bloom or do you have only buds? Do you have leaves and what do they look like? What are your stems and branches like? What are your roots like? Maybe you don't have any roots. If you do, are they long and straight? Are they twisted? Are they deep? Do you have thorns? Where are you? Maybe you're in a yard or in a park or in the desert or on the moon. You can be anywhere. Are you growing in a pot or in the ground or through cement? Look around and see what's around you. Are there other rose bushes around or are you alone? Are there trees, animals, birds, people? How do you survive? Who takes care of you? What's the weather like for you right now? Is there a fence or maybe rocks around you? Take a moment and look around and see yourself as this rose bush. And as you can see, I do a lot of prompting of different kinds of possible rose bushes for children to help them with this imagination of a rose bush. So when you have an idea in your mind of how you are and where you are, I'd like you to open your eyes and take some markers or crayons or even a pencil and a piece of paper and draw a picture of yourself as this rose bush in the scene that you imagine around you.
Mine was really quick, obviously, so maybe a minute or so.
How's everybody doing on their drawings? Karen, can you see anyone drawing?
I could see lots of people drawing. Yeah. You want to give like a 1 minute finish time, and maybe people will still be doing a little bit on their drawing, but you'll be ready
Yeah.
to do a
Yeah,
demonstration.
Why don't we do that?
Okay, so 1 minute.
Okay. So is there anyone who'd like to share their rose bush and do just a little bit of work with me about it?
Hello.
Hello.
Do you hear me?
Hello. How are
Hi.
you?
I'm fine. I'm so happy I'm hearing and seeing you.
Oh, it's so nice to see you. What time is it where you are?
I'm now in Batumi in Georgia, and it's almost, what time is it? It's 10 o'clock, almost 10.
Oh my gosh. Well, good evening.
Yeah, but it's quite okay.
Good to see you.
Good to
So
see
do you want to show me your picture? Just briefly
Yes.
tell me about what
Yeah.
you drew and what you thought.
I'll tell you, but before I tell you about my drawing, I just want to remind you that I did the same in Malibu training, and I always have in my mind my first experience, who I was by that time as a rosebush and who I am now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a very interesting comparison, yeah.
Yes, because it's been quite a few years.
Yeah, it was almost 10 years ago, I guess.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, in few words, I will tell you that first what I draw is the house. It's the house, and in very close to the house is the rose bush. And above the rose bush, there is the tree, which is kind of supporting the, giving the courage, let's say, to the bush. And above the bush, there is the butterfly who is always there.
Ah, so can you hold it up so everyone can see it for a
Yeah,
minute?
sure.
Let's see if you feel comfortable with everyone looking at the picture.
I am, but I'm not sure if you can recognize it.
Yes. Okay, and the rose bush is in between the tree and the house.
It is, yes.
And-
And there is the butterfly.
And there's the butterfly. Okay.
Yes, and from the house chimney is how to say, there is a fire in the house.
There's a in the chimney.
Yeah, in the chimney. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean that. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. The lights are on, and it's really good in the house. It feels good in the house.
It feels good. Okay, so I'd like you to be the rose bush. Can you be the rose bush and tell me about yourself, what you look like, and
Okay.
where you are?
I am very green, let's say. Mostly I'm green. Color is the green. And I have roots there. And my roots are also going down to the house. And that was important moment when I put the roots down to the house.
So you have deep roots? You have deep roots down to the house?
Down to the house, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I have orange flowers. Yeah, yeah. My roses are orange, and I used to be orange in Malibu as well, I remember, but the shape is different. Now I am more delicate and more like not that opened and not closed. It's like, changing. It's very close to be flourished, but I like this moment not to be that flourished yet. You know what I mean?
I understand.
Yeah.
Who takes care of you? Who takes care of you?
The atmosphere, I cannot say that somebody takes care, but atmosphere itself and the weather and this tree and this house and all of that and the butterfly. I mean, the atmosphere makes me feel to be the way I am, and I feel really good.
Okay. And tell me, how long have you been there?
Since I'm married.
Since you're a married rosebush?
Now I'm making parallel in my life, and I think that I'm here about 4 years.
Oh my gosh. And do you know how you got there?
Yes, I think that this tree was very much like me, and we wanted to be closer, and I don't know who exactly put me here, but it was the idol relationship between me and the tree, and we got together.
But again, you as the tree, how did you get there? How were you planted, or how were you?
Okay, me as a tree, right?
Yes.
The owner of the house made me grow here, I think.
So did the owner plant you there?
Probably yes, but it was the need of the tree, not of the house owner. Yeah, tree wanted me there.
No, you're the tree, so you wanted to be there, and somehow you ended up there.
Yeah.
Okay, but how did you end up there? How did, 'cause there's lots of different ways for plants to grow.
I think the owner of the house was always dreaming about having the tree the way I am. And he saw somewhere the tree like me, and then he got to know how to plant the tree, and he did plant me, and now I am who I am.
Oh, okay. And you've been there for how many years?
For a long, long, long time.
Long time.
I'm old tree. Yeah, I'm quite old, but I look good.
Oh, you're a good-looking old tree.
Yeah.
And,
With pink, pinky flowers.
mhm.
I'm tree and the flowers together, like weird combination.
Well, what do you think about where you are? How do you feel about the location that you're in? It sounds like you have a tree next to you and you're right next to a house. What is that like for you?
It's very fresh. It's very, I like the nature. It's somewhere in the nature. I feel the ocean somewhere close. It's quite like California, I guess.
Ah, so it feels good there.
Yeah, it
Now,
feels really.
now, are you aware that there was a rose bush in Malibu 10 years ago? Are you the same rose bush or is that a different rose bush?
No, it's the different. I'm so settled down now. When I remember the rose bush, which I painted in Malibu, it was just me everywhere, and not. I did not have the sensation of who I was, and now I
So,
quite know who I am and where I am.
okay, so you as the rose bush that you
Yep.
are today,
Yep.
what would you like to say to that rose bush from Malibu 10 years ago? What would you like to say to that rose?
Oh, I like it. Okay. I would say that I'm really proud of you, because even though it's 10 years, you look still young, and like the color is the same. Even I think it's greener, and it's thinner, and I really like and appreciate how you changed. And I like this process of growing, which I see, and I feel the space that I have enough space for her. And I like the rose bush from the past.
So be the rose bush now and say something to the tree.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I would say that I like the distance between us. We are not too close and we are not too far, and I like it. I also like the colors of the tree. But the only thing I recognize now and I want to share is that I'm not sure what are the plots of this tree. I like the color, I like the smell, but I still don't know exactly what is the fruit or flower or what is it. But it's okay. It's mysterious. And I wish to know more about this tree, but I hope that during the time I will know more.
So for a little bit, be the tree. Say, I am a tree.
I am a tree.
And can you describe where you are and what's around you?
Around me is the very lovely rose bush, which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the ocean and I smell the ocean. And I feel the warmth of coming from this house. And I don't see much. I know that there are many things happening around, but I don't see much. I just feel what I just said.
What do you think about the rose bush?
Rosebush is quite young, a little bit awkward, but I like it. and I think that I'm lucky to be close to the Rosebush.
Can you say that to the Rosebush?
Yep, I'm lucky to be with you, close to you. I'm really lucky and happy.
And how long have you, how does that feel?
It feels really good.
Feels good. So I have one more question for the tree, the tree. You have some mystery about you to the Rosebush. Is there something that you want to share with the Rosebush? Are you aware that the Rosebush is a little, I don't know, doesn't have the answers to some things about you?
I would not say anything, because I think that this mystery keeps us together and gives us this energy. So I think that it would stay for me. I would not share anything. Just be quiet and like this face of Rosebush with curiosity.
Okay, so you're asking the Rosebush just to accept.
Yep.
Accept.
Yep.
So, is there anything else about this? Like, let's do the butterfly before we finish. I'd like you to be the butterfly.
Yes, I'm very, as a butterfly, I'm very close to the Rosebush. We are like the same family, let's say. We are similar. The only difference is that I can fly and I can go here and there. And I think that a little bit I'm happier than the bush, because bush is settled down and she's there where she is. And I can go and change my thoughts and emotions and experiences with the others and with the world more than she. And now I am aware that butterfly is my past, and now I am the bush.
Say that again.
When I was talking as a butterfly, I recognized me in a past. I feel like I was butterfly more, and now I am more this bush who is settled down and who knows where he is.
So are you saying that you, the butterfly, are a past life of the bush? Oh, okay. All right. And how long have you been around butterfly?
We are always together. I mean, maybe it's when if the weather is nice, I'm always around. Like we are the very best friends.
You've always been together.
We've always been together, yeah.
Is there anything about the Rosebush that you don't like?
No, I really like it. Sorry.
No, I want to change back and let's talk with you here in the room. And
yeah, sure.
Tell me, in what ways does this affect, or how does this relate to your life? Is there?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I want to share, because I had really nice awareness between me and my relationship. With me and my husband. I know that we are so different, but at the same time, I so appreciate this difference, this mysterious difference, which I still don't know exactly what is there. I mean, I like it. Yeah. Sometimes maybe I have many question marks, but now I realize that I do like it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And thank you for this experience.
Thank you. So it was really very meaningful a decade later, huh?
I know, yeah. When I saw you, I was like, I want to work with her. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So now do we have time for a breakout?
Yeah, yeah, it may not feel like enough time, but that's sort of what happens on these calls. Yeah. So I'm sorry about that, but we'll do the best we can. What would you say to them about being in the breakout room?
If you could break out into pairs and one of you be the therapist and have the client describe their drawing, and then have them be aspects of the drawing, and then see how that relates to their life today, and then switch roles. And we have what, about 10 minutes maybe, so 5 minutes each role. Does anyone have any questions, comments, feedback about the experience?
Yes. Can I say something?
Sure.
Well, I thank you so much, because I have been working with children from a long time, and doing the Rosebush. I say in Spanish because I used to just work in Spanish. In Spanish is El Rosal. And I have been reading, so many times the Violet Oaklander's books, but I never experienced myself. Kind of shame. It's a really shame, I have to confess, but I never experienced myself. So after so many years doing Gestalt therapy, I draw my first Rosebush, and I share with another person that is here from Slovenia, and it was a fantastic experience. And I really like how you guide, Zoo, and your voice is really important. Also, how you guide the meditation part. So, oh wow, I'm emotional right now. So thank you so much. I just want to say that.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you had that experience. Thank you.
So I'd like to say some things if I could, Sue.
Sure.
So first of all, thank you very much. I really went to town with my Rosebush, and I really appreciated the moment to be able to reflect on myself and my own experience where I am now, and to see your work. There were two things I noticed that are very different about how you do this exercise than I do it. One is that I mostly do the prompts from memory, and I realize how much I leave out. So I'm at listening to your very complete prompt. It spurs me to go back and reread again the prompts from Windows to Our Children in that exercise, and really remember more of those, or read it rather than rely on my memory.
I don't think of it so much as prompts, as sort of engaging with the object as a client, and just sort of going where the client goes, and having the client communicate with other aspects of the drawing, and just sort of kind of going with wherever wherever the client takes me is where I try to.
I'm talking about the direction, the initial guidance.
Oh, the original prompts, yeah.
Those prompts.
I think with older kids, teens, they probably don't need that level of prompts, but younger kids do. I
like that level of prompts. I really like all of the different aspects. I was telling Lynn, who I was in the breakout room with, that I forget about the roots. I talk about who waters you, or who feeds you, who tends. but I
Mhm.
forget about the roots. And that's a very important part.
I had Max scan the Rosebush information so that Karen will be able to send that to everyone. So they'll have the handout
Mhm.
with the prompts and also the little triangle if anyone's interested in that, and then the front cover of the psychotherapy.net tape if they're interested in that as well.
Yeah, I appreciated the triangle as well. I think that that's the way that I think of that engagement and the projective exercises too. So, and then the other thing I wanted to mention just briefly is, in the drawing, as you were working with Mazika, I recognized that you were addressing all the different objects in the drawing, much as someone might with a dream.
Yes.
And I, in my work, just stick with a rose bush. So it's nice to see the variety of ways that these projective techniques can be used. And I love seeing your energy with Mazika, the two of you working together. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
You may just have to come back here, Sue. I don't know. Let's you have a lot to share.
Keep nudging, Karen.
Absolutely. You just heard from a few very experienced people who got to experience this sort of classic drawing in a different way thanks to your help. So thanks so much. And I will send out in my follow-up email what Sue sent me, so you will all have it. And I also have from last time, Trish has a list of what she put in her box to send to clients. So I'm going to send that also. So it'll be, when I get to it, there'll be a lot of good information